Hi everybody, this is FreakyBot9 and I'm here to recap today's video, which is our 6-1 Forest Cup tournament that was played on May 30th, 2020. It was a online tournament held in a local Discord group. Discord group was called the Lord Helix Secret Society PvP. It was a live tournament with 7 rounds. We had 65 people that showed up for a tournament, and in this tournament we went 6-1, tying for first place with Sodium 9-itch, Sodium Hue, Marto Gallade, and myself. And with this win for this tournament in my weighted tournament cup, we managed to get to the elite tier status. And as of now, we were currently 13th in Canada and 350th in the world. So it was a pretty good achievement, and I just thought I'd recap today's video matches about my Forest Cup and just showcase like what the team I used to bring in, how the tournament matches went, and kind of talk about like how the matches kind of went, and we'll just jump into it. So first things off is, what is my team? My team, we were running Ferrothorn with Bullet Seed, Power Whip, and Flash Cannon. We're running Mantine with Wing Attack, Bubble Beam, and Ice Beam. Stunfisk with Mud Shot, Mud Bomb, and Discharge. Wormadam Trash with Confusion, Iron Head, and Bug Buzz. Kingdra with Dragon Breath, Octazooka, and Blizzard, and Blaziken with Counter, Blaze Kick, and Blast Burn. So we could probably start with like what Pokemon we picked on our team and why we decided to pick them. We picked Ferrothorn, obviously, because Ferrothorn is a very popular Pokemon that has a lot of positive matchups. With the fast energy generation from Bullet Seed to Power Whips to Flash Cannon, it's a really good anti-grass Pokemon in this cup. Pretty much with Flash Cannon, it can chunk away at the fellow grasses while also taking little to no damage back from them, thanks to the combination of its bulkiness, with it being grass and steel, to be able to resist those grass attacks as well. So also because of the fact that it charges up so quickly with Bullet Seed, that it makes it a really good staple for pretty much any Forest Cup team. Next Pokemon we did is Mantine. Mantine, we went with Wing Attack, Bubble Beam, and Ice Beam. Bubble Beam and Wing Attack were pretty much like staple picks for most Mantines, I felt. With Wing Attack, you could threaten the counters to other grass types. You can threaten Blaziken. You can threaten a bunch of other Pokemon now with Bubble Beams as well, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage. The debuff on it and how fast it generates definitely hurts a lot of Pokemon there. It can turn a lot of matchups later down the road if they're debuffed. And we went with Ice Beam here, just so that we would be able to threaten the head-to-head Ferrothorn matches in the one shield scenario, and also be able to threaten opposing bug and steel types like Wormadam, also threaten Pokemon like Stunfisk, and also other Pokemon such as like Kingdra. So we were able to threaten a lot more people that way, and I think it definitely caught a lot of people off guard running Ice Beam, because a lot of Mantines usually ran Aerial Ace instead. So that's why we kind of decided to pick with Mantine with Ice Beam, just so we could get that more surprise factor in our matchups. Next Pokemon we picked was Stunfisk with Mud Shot, Mud Bomb, and Discharge. We went with Mud Shot here just because it lined up better with most of the matchups in the meta of the Forest Cup. Thunder Shock would be hitting more super effective against Pokemon like Mantine and Kingdra, but we definitely wanted to do more damage to the other Pokemon, such as if it was going to be an opposing Stunfisk, or if it was going to be Blaziken, or even do a little bit more chip damage, I believe, to like Ferrothorn and Wormadam Trash. So that's kind of why we also picked that there. It also served as our counter to opposing Mantines. So we wanted to really emphasize that we had a strong pick against those as well, going into this matchup. Next one we picked is Wormadam Trash. Originally, in the beginning of our cups, we didn't really run Wormadam Trash into all of them, and in fact this was like the only kind of tournament I ran Wormadam Trash in. But after seeing a lot of like YouTube videos and other streamers using that using that Pokemon, we decided to run Wormadam as well. On paper it does really well. It beats Blaziken in one shield scenario. It just has to shield the first charge move and then can Confusion down. It is another threat to a lot of popular picks such as Kingdra, and can also be a threat to Ferrothorn as well, with the Bug Buzz and the Iron Heads doing some neutral damage as well. And just the fact that it's quite tanky in itself, so it'll be able to threaten a lot of other Pokemon. Next Pokemon we picked was Kingdra with Dragon Breath, Octazooka, and Blizzard. We went with Kingdra just because, well, the Dragon Breath damage is really strong against this cup. There wasn't a lot of Pokemon that can resist the Dragon type damage, except for the Steels and the Fairy types. And in this cup, there was only like a handful of those Pokemon that could be really strong, such as Wormadam Trash, Ferrothorn, Azumarill. And so that's why we kind of decided to pick our Kingdra there. It'd be a nice late game sweeper with the Dragon Breath damage, being able to chunk down a lot of Pokemon in no shield scenarios there. And we decided to go with Octazooka just because it's for the debuff chance. It's the fastest energy generation move that it can have. And it threatens Pokemon such as Stunfisk. It can threaten a good shield baits against lots of other Pokemon with its charge moves. And basically, it's a really good overall move. It's like a 50% chance to take the opponent's Pokemon down or attack in 2 stages, so that was really good as well. Then we went with Blizzard as well. Not outraged as what most people had seemed to have been running earlier. We went with Blizzard just to be able to threaten more of the Ferrothorns as well as more of the grass and types and flying types like Jumpluff and Wormadam Trashes, Ferrothorns, even Pokemon like Mantine and also the Stunfisk. So that way it would be a more positive matchup against those. And as such, it would actually be okay against Pokemon such as even the Azumarill, just because Outrage would be resisted as well. And the last Pokemon we picked was Blaziken, just to round up our team. We needed a more hard counter to the Ferrothorn Pokemon and other grasses, which I felt like were kind of a issue in this cup. In this cup, you definitely needed to run some sort of counter to most popular meta Pokemon such as Ferrothorn, so we decided to run Blaziken. I was debating before the cup to use the Elite Charge TM to change the Blast Burn into Stone Edge, so that way it would give a stronger matchup against the Mantines. But looking back at my team right now too, we already had a lot of good Mantine counters originally with the Stunfisk and the Kingdra and also Wormadam Trash, and also Ferrothorn can handle it pretty well. So we decided to just keep our Elite Charge CM and hopefully use it again in the future because we didn't really want to use it for this Tournament Cup, unfortunately. So that's pretty much our team, and then we're going to be jumping into the matches here. We're going to see how they go. Alright, so first match, we're going against Ferrothorn with our Mantine. In this matchup, we're just going to try to get to that Bubble Beam before we get to the Power Whip. We are going to shield the first Power Whip here. So basically in this matchup, we just want to Power Whip once, and then we're going to go straight Ice Beam afterwards for the rest of the match here. Most of the time, most people on Ferrothorns aren't expecting to have the Ice Beam on their Mantines, especially they might be thinking to have Aerial Ace. So usually we like to catch them off guard with this Ice Beam here. So we're going to Ice Beam down the Ferrothorn here. Hopefully it's going to make the connection, which it does. Gets into the red, and he swaps it into Galvantula. Once we see the Galvantula switch, we switch to our Ferrothorn, and we're just going to hit these Flash Cannons. We are down a shield, and this Galvantula is going to hurt us with that Bug Buzz. And we can't afford to shield that there right now. So we throw the Flash Cannon out. He still has his shields up. We're going to force a shield right now here on his Galvantula with this Power Whip, or he's going to knock out the Galvantula. And here he decides to throw his energy onto the Ferrothorn, which I'm okay with, which knocks out my Ferrothorn there. And we're going to be debating on which one we want to swap in now. We're going to bring in that Kingdra and just Dragon Breath him down. And then now we're going to see what his last Pokemon is going to be. He's definitely not going to want to bring out that Ferrothorn against us here. So he brings out the Whiscash, and the only way he wins this is if he lands the Blizzard. That was not enough Mud Bombs to get to the Blizzard right there, so I knew that he didn't have it. And here we decided to go for the Octazooka onto the Whiscash there. And here I kind of make a critical error. I decide to not shield this, but then I decide to swap into my Mantine to try to catch off the Whiscash by mistake. He swaps into his Ferrothorn, which is really strong, and we hit the Bubble Beam, which unfortunately could have wing attacked him down. And he brings back in his Whiscash. We're going to go for the Ice Beam right here to manage to knock out the Whiscash here, though. So we do manage to take that first game there and secure the win. So the second game, Mantine versus Givenchy, which is a really bad matchup for us. We're going to get out of there as soon as possible into our Ferrothorn, and he swaps into his own opposing Ferrothorn. On this matchup, we're definitely going to just look to land our flash cannons here. We can survive up to 3 flash cannons from the opposing Ferrothorn. And after that, it's just going to come down to doing Power Whip baits or if you want Bullet Seed down. But unfortunately, because Ferrothorn is such a tanky Pokemon, these Bullet Seeds aren't going to be enough to do much damage. So here I'm expecting him to do a flash cannon on me and decide to shield that one. And here I'm going to bait with my Power Whip, get him to use his shield to save his Ferrothorn, which is really good for us here. We're almost able to get to the next Power Whip that would have been enough to take him down. We decided to tank this charge move here, and here I think I made a mistake by swapping out. I should have probably stayed in that matchup and fired off the Power Whip to knock out the Givenchy, but swapping to Mantine, swaps into Givenchy, and knocks us out. Here, we're really bad disadvantage here. Brings out Kingdra against the Givenchy. Discharge is going to hurt, so we have to shield that. We're going to commit to Dragon Breathing the rest of this Givenchy down. Brings out the Whiscash here, and I decided to go for the Blizzard to try to knock out the Whiscash here. And he does not shield. And here I was being a little bit cheeky, tried to swap out while he's trying to get to a Blizzard to knock us out there. Swapping into Ferrothorn to land a Power Whip, but he did have that last shield. Manages to Mud Bomb us down and then go for the Blizzard on our Kingdra to knock it out for game 2. And in game 3 for round 1, we're leading a Kingdra against a Givenchy, which isn't the greatest matchup per se. We do decide to shield once, and we're going to try to commit to Dragon Breathing the rest of him down. He does decide to switch though, so when he swaps, we're going to throw in our Blizzard, so either going to force a shield or do so much damage on him, which it does. And here, I tried to switch out, but I didn't switch out in time, and I'm going to tank this Power Whip to the face and get my Kingdra killed. So in this matchup, I'm going to bring in Mantine here. I'm going to commit to trying to just wing attacking him down, so I can land the Ice Beam onto the back line there. For his Givenchy that's going to come in. Brings out Givenchy, we throw the Ice Beam here. In hindsight, maybe I could have done 2 Bubble Beams. Would have been enough. Because I was so close to another Bubble Beam right there. And he charges up so much energy, he's going to throw a Bug Buzz onto our Ferrothorn, which we have to shield. And then he brings in Blaziken, which unfortunately knocks us out here. So that is unfortunately the end of the first round. We do take a loss round 1, and we're going to be going into our second round in round 2, Mantine against the Ampharos. So this is a very bad matchup for us, as the Ampharos is going to be able to do a lot of damage to our Mantine. So we decided to bail out into our Ferrothorn here. And here comes the Ampharos' charge move. I was thinking it could be a Focus Blast or it could be a bait. And we decided to take the bait and not shield. And he shields correctly as he tried to bait us with that Thunder Punch. Here he shields that charge move. And here we're thinking, okay, at this point he's going to probably throw the Focus Blast on us. So we decided to shield, which is perfect. He swaps into his own Ferrothorn. We go for the Power Whip, and this Flash Cannon, and Flash Cannon does a lot of damage onto the Ferrothorn, but as you can tell right now, we are behind, as we took a lot of damage from the Ampharos beforehand, which makes us really low. We bail out of there and go right into our Mantine and land this Bubble Beam. We land the Bubble Beam just so that we're going to be able to survive to get to our next Ice Beam before this Power Whip would have done enough damage to us. So, lands the Power Whip, building up to the Ice Beam. We're going to be able to do a lot of damage to this Ferrothorn with the Ice Beam here. We take him to the red and did one more wing attack. We do manage to take him out. He swaps back into the Ampharos here. And this is not a very good matchup for either our Pokemon here. But we decide to bring in Ferrothorn and throw the Power Whip to force that last shield. And he decides to throw his energy onto the Ferrothorn, which is really good for us. Because now we can just bring in our Kingdra and we don't have to worry about a double Thunder Punch to us. So we can shield the first Thunder Punch here. And we're going to go for the Dragon Breath farm down on the Ampharos. And here comes the Quagsire. We decide to throw the Blizzard onto him. And this is going to take him critically low. But he does get to a charge move right here. And he is going to throw the Stone Edge on us. And it's going to almost take us out. But we managed to take out his Quagsire with one more Dragon Breath. And the last Ampharos with one more Dragon Breath too. So that was a really close game right there as well. And we secured the win. So the next match, we kind of lost some footage at the beginning, but basically it was the our Mantine versus his Ampharos in the beginning, and we swapped into our Stunfisk. We swapped into our Stunfisk, and he swapped into his Ferrothorn, and basically we just ate both these Power Whips to a face while trying to do some chip damage onto the Ferrothorn. So we took that Power Whip to the face, and here comes back out our Mantine. We throw the power bubble beam onto the Ferrothorn here, so that way it does some less damage to us with the power whip. And we're gonna try to build up for the ice beam to try and knock out this Ferrothorn. Farm up some energy here. Throw the ice beam is gonna be enough to take out the Ferrothorn here. He swaps back out into his Ampharos. We swap immediately into our Kingdra. We don't want him to be farming enough more energy onto our Mantine to throw more Thunder Punches onto our Kingdra here. We're going to commit to double shielding our Kingdra here and Dragon Breathing the rest of him down. And we're going to save our charge moves for whatever Pokemon comes out in the back. Throw out the next Pokemon here. We're going to throw the Octazooka. And our opponent does have 2 shields, and it is against a Quagsire, and he does decide to shield. So he just before he gets to his next charge move, we land another Octazooka, so that way he's double debuffed. Here we try to do a sacrificial swap into our Mantine, but we weren't able to get it done. We decides to try to go for another charge move, and we do land a sacrificial swap into our Mantine here, and we land it onto our Stone Edge, but our Kingdra just isn't enough to take out this Quagsire. We almost got it though with this Octazooka, but with 1 HP he does manage to knock us out. Round 3, Game 1, we were playing against a Givenchy, Ferrothorn, Mantine, Blaziken, Jumpluff, and Kingdra team. So we decided to lead with our Mantine, and we had not a bad matchup against the Ferrothorn. We played this before, as you see in the last video here, where we've just decided to just land the first Bubble Beam and then commit to just going with the Ice Beams to knock out the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn does get to another power up before we get to another charge move here, which means we're going to have to tank it. We'll land the Ice Beam onto the Ferrothorn, hoping that he doesn't shield here, which he doesn't, which is really good for us. But here he's going to get to another charge move before we get to our Bubble Beam. And at this point, we're pretty low, so we're going to commit to landing the Bubble Beam to knock out the Ferrothorn. In hindsight, maybe I could have tried to just wing attack him down, but we are critically low. He brings out his Galvantula, which manages to knock us out. And we don't have a really good option with either one of our Pokemon against a 2-shield Galvantula. So we're going to bring in our Wormadam here, try to anticipate what his last Pokemon would be, thinking that it was going to probably be one of the Blaziken or going to be maybe another fellow Kingdra. So we decided to shield our first charge move, and he shields ours, and this charge move is going to be enough to take us out. We decided to bring in our Kingdra. We are going to commit to trying to Dragon Breathing him down. He switches out into his Jumpluff here. Try to go for the Blizzard, thinking maybe he would not shield this charge move. Land the Blizzard, but he does throw the shield, which is really good for him. And unfortunately, there's not much else we can really do because this Jumpluff charges energy super quick with the Energy Ball. And Bullet Seeds, that is going to be enough to take out our Kingdra. Right before we get to another charge move, this Octazooka is going to land, but it's not going to be enough to take out the Jumpluff as it's very tanky. So that was round 1. Round 2, Mantine versus Galvantula, which is not a really good lead for us. So we bail right out of there into our Stunfisk. This is also not too bad. We just got to be careful for the Bug Buzz when it happens to us. But he does decide to shield that charge move. He switches back out into Ferrothorn. So now I know that this matchup is pretty much a lost cause for this head-to-head. So I'm just going to try to do as much chip damage as possible. I'm not going to waste my shields on this. Just gotta be cognitive of the fact that he does have enough energy on his Galvantula in the back that our Mantine is gonna take a lot of damage later, so we need to keep those shields. We are gonna commit to just doing as much chip damage as possible, and I believe he also knows that as well, so he's gonna try to just Bullet Seed us down. But we managed to do enough damage to threaten his shield and throw his charge move. So now it's perfect for us here. We are going to shield our Mantine here against this Ferrothorn. And we're going to try to commit to just wing attacking him down here. And we also decide to swap out to eat the charge move from the Power Whip onto our Wormadam. Now here comes his Galvantula, throwing out the charge move, which is a discharge, not the Bug Buzz. So it's really good for us right there. Here he is going to get to another charge move. We decide to shield this charge move here because we are going to try to get to that Bug Buzz with one more confusion, which we do. We're going to land the Bug Buzz onto the Galvantula to knock him out, and his coming out is the Jumpluff right here. So this is a very good matchup for us right here, but we are critically low from the earlier battle, and this area takes us to the red, but we managed to land this Bug Buzz right here, and we're going to swap right out afterwards and into our Mantine to land an Ice Beam to take out the Jumpluff. This last Pokemon is that Ferrothorn, which we managed to take out there with one more wing attack. And in the final match of this round, Stunfisk against Galvantula, which is a very positive matchup for us. He does count properly, and he manages to swap out when we do our Mud Bomb into his Ferrothorn. So now we're going to swap back into our Mantine because we definitely don't want our Mantine to be matched up against Givenchy later on. Land a Bubble Beam against the opposing Ferrothorn. And in this matchup, because he's so low, I didn't need to waste my shield in this situation. So we're going to go straight for the Ice Beam now. And he does manage to get another one off there, so we decided to shield that one at least. We're going to do another Bubble Beam and try to just farm the rest of him down, so that way we don't have to waste another shield later on. He does decide to shield though, and he swaps out into his Givenchy to land the discharge to knock us out there. So he does knock us out. We bring in our Stunfisk to land the Mud Bomb and just chip away at this Givenchy, which forces his last shield. He is going to throw his Bug Buzz right now as well. So we decided not to shield this, and we're going to save our shield for the last Pokemon because that Ferrothorn does have lots of energy stored up. And also because that the Stunfisk later on isn't going to have a very positive matchup against the Ferrothorn when it swaps back in. So we land a Mud Bomb, take out the Givenchy. He swaps back into his Mantine here. He has no shields. He tried to be cheeky and swap out into his Ferrothorn to eat the charge move and throw the power up on us, but we decided to catch and read that and swap into our Wormadam. So now he's going to be forced to use Flash Cannon here. We decided to shield the Flash Cannon and commit to confusing him down, and we go for a Bug Buzz against the opposing Mantine, which in hindsight, maybe not the best move. Probably should have done something better, but this is okay with us here because we are just waiting for that switch time to come up because we do have that discharge ready to go. We land the Bug Buzz onto the Mantine here, and we're going to swap right into our Stunfisk, land a discharge to knock out the Mantine, and secure the win for round 3. We're going to round 4 against a Azumarill, Swampert, Ferrothorn, Ampharos, Crustle, and Blaziken. We catch an amazing lead with our Mantine lead against the Blaziken. He swaps out into Crustle, so we're going to swap right into our Ferrothorn. Swap into Ferrothorn just because these Flash Cannons are going to do so much damage to this Crustle here. But in return, we are going to take a lot of damage from these X Scissors and the Fast Energy Generation from his fast move of Fury Cutter. So we land a Flash Cannon on him. He decides to shield. We're kind of going to get to another charge move here, and we're going to need to shield to be able to get to our next Flash Cannon. So we throw the Flash Cannon here onto the Crustle, and the Crustle decides to not shield, and we now have one switch advantage here. He's going to bring out his next Pokemon, which is going to be that Azumarill. We're going to be trying to get to this Power Whip, and we do manage to get to the Power Whip before we get knocked out, which is really good for us here. That means we either take a lot of damage off the Azumarill or force him to shield. Forces him to shield, and we bring out our Mantine here. So we're going to debuff this Azumarill here because we weren't quite sure if this Azumarill had Play Rough or Ice Beam. But now that we figured out after that first move there that he does have Play Rough, so he's probably running that Play Rough and Hydro Pump moveset. So now we're not going to worry about shielding here. We're going to save our shield for the Stunfisk in the back. We're going to just try to take out this Azumarill with our Mantine here. We're going to land a Bubble Beam onto the Azumarill. That way it's super debuffed, so these bubbles aren't going to do enough damage, and force him to throw his charge move on us. So that way we know that he is going to have little to no energy for the next matchup here. We bring in our Stunfisk, and he's counting very properly. Counted just enough so when we got to our Thunder Shock, but we knew that his win advantage would be to switch out on our wrong charge move. So we decided just to Mud Shot him down, land the double Mud Bomb onto the Blaziken, and go for the discharge onto the Azumarill to knock him out. Round 2, we're against the Swampert lead, which isn't the best for us. He has so much energy built up on the Swampert there, so we decided to bail into our Ferrothorn, and he bails into his Crustle. So in this matchup, we are up 1 Bullet Seed of energy on the Crustle, and we're going to just commit to trying to win switch advantage here. He throws his shield, so we decided to shield too, and he throws his X Scissor here, but we are going to land this Flash Cannon to do as much damage to this Crustle. And he decides to double shield the Crustle, which is very interesting for us as well, because this next charge move is going to hurt us. We decided to shield as well. We're going to swap out of this matchup. When he sees this swap into his Ferrothorn, we're going to swap into our Mantine. We don't have any shields. He doesn't have any shields, so we're just going to land a Bubble Beam to debuff the Ferrothorn here. And we're going to hopefully try to get to another Bubble Beam before this Power Whip is going to be enough to kill us. So here, Power Whip's going to land. It's going to take us down to the red, and we're going to continuously try to get to the Ice Beam to do as much more chip damage to this Ferrothorn as possible. Take his Ferrothorn into the red right here. And we were trying to build up for another Bubble Beam to try to knock out the Ferrothorn. He built up a lot of energy as well and managed to knock us out with a Power Whip. So here we're going to commit to doing a couple more Mud Shots and then land a Mud Bomb onto the Ferrothorn. Expecting him to throw his next Pokemon out here, which happens to be the Swampert. Throw the Mud Bomb onto the Swampert here. And then we're going to go bail right into our Ferrothorn and land the Power Whip on him, which managed to take out the Swampert, which means all that charge energy that he had is all neglected, which is very crucial for us because he had so much energy build up on that Swampert. Brings up the Crustle to take out the Ferrothorn, but at this point, Stunfisk resists both the X-Scissor and Rock Slide and Fury Cutter from the Crustle, so we can just go ahead and just Mud Bomb down the Crustle to secure the win for round 4, game 2. So now we're leading our Ferrothorn against his Ampharos, which isn't that bad of a matchup. We just got to be careful for the Focus Blast here, as that will be enough to take us out. But we're going to start applying our pressure with our Ferrothorn with the Power Whips onto the Ampharos here. He's going to bail out into his Blaziken, so we're going to switch into our Stunfisk. And the Stunfisk is then going to do our Mud Bomb. In hindsight, maybe I should have take some more damage here and probably just Mud Shot him down more so I can farm up some more energy. But he does manage to land a Blast Burn on us. But we have one switch advantage and shield advantage with that, which is really crucial. In comes his next Pokemon. It's going to be that Swampert. We're going to land the Mud Bomb against the Swampert here. And he's going to take us out with those Mud Shots. Going to swap into our Mantine here. Going to go for a Bubble Beam to debuff the Swampert. But he switches out into his Ampharos. And on his charge move, we swap out as well. But ends up being that Thunder Punch, so we shielded basically the shield bait, unfortunately. And now we're going to be going for our next charge move here, and he's going to throw his charge move. It is going to be another shield bait here, so we decide to farm a little more extra energy, and we know that this power up is going to be enough to take out the Ampharos. Here comes the Swampert. He does have so much energy built up that he's going to be able to land the Hydro Cannon on us, and as soon as we try to CMP, he wins CMP for that last Hydro Cannon, which is going to be enough to take out our Ferrothorn here. Bring out our Mantine. Here comes his next charge move. It is whatever it is, though. It doesn't going to be nothing for us because we are so tanky with our Mantine. And we're going to finish off the Swampert with a Bubble Beam to secure the win for that round. Round 5, we're going up against a Breloom, Ferrothorn, Heatmor, Mantine, Galvantula, and Stunfisk team. So we lead with our Mantine, and he goes against us with a Stunfisk, which is obviously not a really good matchup for us. We're going to stay in this matchup, though, because we don't want to swap out of this matchup and get counter-swapped in and then have this matchup later on. So we're just going to stay in here. We just debuffed him once, so this charge isn't going to be enough to take us out here. And we're going to just chunk away at this Stunfisk and land this Ice Beam, and he doesn't shield, which takes him to the red, which is really good for us here. We are going to take this discharge to the face, though, unfortunately, and we're going to just have our Mantine just die. And we're going to bring in our Wormadam here and just farm down the Stunfisk. He does manage to get a Mud Bomb on us, but he is debuffed, so it's not going to hurt us as much. He's going to swap into his next Pokemon here. And right now, it's not the greatest situation. He does bring out the Mantine, so it is going to be a very hard matchup here for us. He does shield the first Bug Buzz here. And I'm expecting this to be a Bubble Beam. And it was. So I swap out of there just so I don't want to get debuffed anymore. And we go right into our Kingdra. And I'm expecting this to be another Bubble Beam, which I decided not to shield. He swaps into his Galvantula, which is a really bad matchup for us here. Because we are debuffed. And we do manage to get the Octazookas off there, though. But he does shield the Octazooka. So now he's going for that discharge. And we're going to shield up the discharge there. And we are going to try to get to that last Octazooka, but we just didn't make it in time, and his discharge is going to take us into the critical red. But because he was double debuffed from our Octazooka earlier, we managed to survive that. Go for the farm down on the Galvantula and switch out to Wormadam Trash into our Mantine, or switch out to Wormadam Trash against the Mantine right away, because we definitely don't want the Mantine to farm down our Kingdra. Switch into Wormadam and farm off the Bug Buzz, eat the shield. He gets a Bubble Beam off on us, but we do manage to bring in our Kingdra later on to farm him down with Dragon Breath. Round 2, we're leading a Ferrothorn into the Mantine, which is really not a bad matchup. But he swaps out into Galvantula here, And so we decided to stay in with our Ferrothorn for a bit, fire off the Flash Cannon, and then swap into our Wormadam here. This Wormadam is going to be able to tank this discharge, and he is going to be able to get to another discharge maybe, but he does not, unfortunately. So we're looking pretty good right now. We want switch advantage, and he also just brings back in the Mantine. So we're just going to throw the Bug Buzz off on here on him, and we're going to try to get to another Bug Buzz here. And he's going to throw his charge move off here. It could be a Bubble Beam, so we decided to let it go. And it is just a Bubble Beam. Now, because he did the Bubble Beam, did allow us to get to another Bug Buzz here, so we can chip away at this Mantine. Mantine's going to do the proper thing and farm us down here. And we're going to bring in our Ferrothorn. We're going to eat this charge move, whatever it could possibly be, which is a Bubble Beam. I'm going to swap right back out into our Kingdra here, thinking it could have been an Ice Beam, but he got us with the Aerial Ace. So now we figured out what his Mantine moveset is. We did just switch lock us though, unfortunately, against this Ferrothorn, and he does have double shield. And we decided to just go for the Hail Mary, and maybe he doesn't decide to shield this charge move here, but he decides to shield, and he does fire off the Power Whip against our Kingdra here, and takes us down. We're going to bring in our own Ferrothorn here, and we're going to force that last shield with this Flash Cannon, or chunk him down to the red here, but he does manage to get to his Flash Cannon first, and we decide to let it go. Fire for Flash Cannon, force his last shield. We're going to be trying to get to that next Flash Cannon here. And we're going to shield this next charge move that comes out of the Ferrothorn, which is ending up being that Power Whip. We're going to farm up extra energy because we know that from his switch advantage, his win advantage would be to switch on our charge move for the Flash Cannon. So we try to swap out into, or he swaps back in his Ferrothorn, and we try to get to that Flash Cannon. But unfortunately, I think we overtapped there, and we weren't able to get that Flash Cannon off. So he wins that round 2. And our last round of the set, we have Stunfisk going up against the Mantine, and he swaps right out into his Galvantula. So we decide to land a butt bomb, and we were going to swap if he tanked it or shielded it, but he didn't shield it, so we're just going to stay in this matchup and throw another Mud Bomb onto his Galvantula. Here comes his next charge move. I'm expecting this to be a Bug Buzz, but we don't have to worry about shielding because we can tank that really comfortably, and we also win switch advantage, and we didn't expend the shield, and we're pretty set and ready to go. He brings out his own Stunfisk now. So we're just going to fire off our Mud Bombs and threaten the Stunfisk because we are ahead on energy, but we are behind in health. So we are going to shield this and force him to also shield our next Mud Bomb as well. Here comes the Mud Bomb onto his Stunfisk here. And he decides to shield as well. And here at this point, I was debating whether to let it go or double shield. But I figured I'll double shield here and stay in. We're going to threaten that last shield with this Mud Bomb or take his Stunfisk into the red. We get the double shield here, and I know that he's going to have to fire off his Mud Bomb to take us out, so we timed it perfectly and swapped into our Wormadam Trash to eat that Mud Bomb. But here comes the Mantine, unfortunately, and it is going to chunk us pretty low with these Aerial Aces and these Bubble Beams. Does get the debuff off first, which is not bad for him. That way these subsequent confusions and these charge moves from Wormadam aren't going to do enough damage to him to knock him out and threaten him. He's going to farm us down, and he's going to throw his next charge move off here. However, we do have a charge move ready to go on our Stunfisk, so we're just going to try to eat this timer down. Trying to go for that last Bug Buzz here, but he does manage to throw his charge move to knock us out here. We decide to swap out, or try to swap out into our Wormadam, or into our Kingdra. But unfortunately, we weren't quite able to do so. And we landed the discharge onto our Kingdra, but we managed to swap out in time into our Stunfisk, and Stunfisk resists the discharge, so we were able to take that charge with no problem. Take out the Stunfisk with our Mud Bomb, and we tried to get for a discharge onto the Mantine, but unfortunately, we weren't quite there to make it. We were one turn away, but because the Mantine's not running Ice Beam and just Aerial Ace, we're able to tank them comfortably. So round 6, we're going up against Ferrothorn with our own Ferrothorn here. And in this matchup, we're going to go the same thing. Just going to go for Flash Cannons here. No sense in baiting right away just because we don't gain anything from baiting at this early Nugget matchup. We are going to be trying to piggyback off him though. So we are, as you can tell right there, we tried to do an extra bullet seed in between his charge moves there. But I think we lagged a little bit behind here. And he got to the Flash Cannon before us. And we do manage to throw our Flash Cannon off here. Now it decides if he wants to shield or not. He doesn't. Now we're into critical red, and now we're going to see if people are going to try to bait for Power Whips or if they're going to go for Flash Cannons here. So I guess there's charge move first, and I'm going to shield this, which is the Power Whip. And then I'm going to throw my Power Whip here to hopefully be able to take out his Ferrothorn or win switch advantage, which we do win switch advantage, and he goes straight into his Wormadam Trash form. We tried to get to that flash cannon, but that confusion registered to knock us out, unfortunately. Now we're going to bring in our Mantine. With Mantine, we're just going to debuff the Wormadam here. Not too worried about what his charge move is going to be happening here at all. And then just going to chunk him away at this. And we're going to just continuously just go these wing attacks until I come down. And he throws off another charge move, which is that Iron Head, which is we're going to be resisted by us. So we're going to throw another Bubble Beam just to debuff him some more. And then we're going to go straight for the Ice Beam afterwards. Is what I would like to say, but then we go right for a Bubble Beam, unfortunately, just because we're trying to just super debuff him and try to save up energy. Trying to get our Mantine really low, so when he knocks us out, we're going to be able to farm up energy on the next Pokemon here. So manage to take him out and get these Bubble Beams off onto the Blaziken in the back, which is going to be really good because he's going to have to shield this. And we're going to try to get to another Bubble Beam, but we weren't quite able to do so. We are 1 shield each. He's debuffed from the Mantine earlier, and we have a Stunfisk against the Blaziken. So it was a really good matchup for us, and there wasn't anything he could do in that matchup. So Mantine against Ferrothorn for round 2. He leads off with Ferrothorn and is going to do his Power Up on us, so we decided to shield the first Power Whip here. And we're going to just go for a Bubble Beam to chunk away at the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is going to be able to get to another charge move here right before we're going to get to our Ice Beam. But because we debuffed him, we're okay to tank this charge move right away. Get to the Ice Beam here. We're going to chunk away at this Ferrothorn if he decides not to shield, which he decides not to and takes him right into the red. And he swaps out into his Kingdra, and then so as such, we swap out into our Kingdra. And in this moment, I was thinking it could be Octazooka or it could be an Outrage or a Blizzard. I didn't want to run that risk, so I decided to shield and just farm him down all the way. Throws out Wormadam Trash, and in hindsight, I probably should have farmed a little bit more and try to go for the Blizzard there because he didn't shield that. We're trying to get to another Octazooka, but we weren't quite able to do so. So unfortunately, we lose that matchup there. He is up 2 shields and has Wormadam against our Stunfisk, and these Bug Buzzes are going to chunk away. Unfortunately, as such, we're going to try to do our Mud Bombs, do as much damage as possible. Going to chunk away at it. He brings out his Ferrothorn. We were going to try to get to the Bubble Beam, but we were late on our switch timer, and he is able to get us there, unfortunately. Now we have a very bad matchup against his Ferrothorn with our Stunfisk. He just has to shield once and gets to that Power Whip to take us out for game number 2 for round 6. And now for game 3 for round 6, we have a good lead with Blaziken against Wormadam, but unfortunately, as you can see, these confusions are just chunking away at our Blaziken. We are going to force a shield off here, though. And we were debating on switching out of this matchup, but we were kind of hesitant, not quite sure, but we wanted to switch out there. So we just unfortunately let that Blaziken just die to the Wormadam Trash form, which is why Wormadam Trash is like a really strong pick. And that's why we definitely put him on our team for that reason as well. Bring in our Mantine against the Wormadam Trash. Double beam him down to debuff him, so that way his charge moves don't affect us as much. He goes for the Iron Head, and then we're going to commit to just wing attacking him down here. But he was super close to another charge move off with the confusion, so we fired off the Bubble Beam so he wouldn't do another charge move off on us. Swaps out to Crustle. We swap into our Wormadam Trash. We're going to eat this next charge move, which is the Rock Slide, which does chunk us quite a bit. We farm up some more extra energy, and we were going to throw the Iron Head, but then he swaps out into Ferrothorn, so we just fire off our Bug Buzz instead. And in this matchup, we're going to be okay because we're just going to have to double shield these, even if it's a Power Whip bait. We just can't run the risk of not shielding that. Throws off the Power Whip, and I know from the other Power Whip this is going to be another Power Whip here, so I don't need to shield this one. So we go for a Bug Buzz, and this is going to either force him to last shield or take out the Ferrothorn, and he decides to not shield. Brings out the Crustle, lands the X-Scissor on our Wormadam. With the switch timer up, we swap into our Mantine. Go for the Bubble Beam onto the Crustle here, and he shields here, and we decide to shield his next charge move, which is the X-Scissor, unfortunately. But we are able to get to another Bubble Beam here and debuff this Crustle some more. And with that, he's forced to use his energy against our Mantine here with that Rock Slide. But our Wormadam comes in and is able to take him out. Round 7, we're going up against a Ferrothorn, Blaziken, Mantine, Stunfisk, Kingdra, and Wormadam Trash. This team looks very familiar, and if you don't notice, it is the exact team that we're running. So we pretty much are running a mirror team right now. So we lead off with a good lead, and he swaps out into Ferrothorn. And we stayed in with Mantine because we had the energy advantage, so we would be able to land that Bubble Beam before having to expend the shield. So we managed to go for an Ice Beam off right now, and it's going to chunk this Ferrothorn pretty low. He's going to do another charge move here, and I guess decided to shield anyways as well, just so that way I could try to threaten to just double beam him down to take him out here. He does manage to get to another charge move when this power whip is going to take us to the red, and we are able to get that bubble beam off with literally 1 HP. Unfortunately, he still is able to survive, so he won the switch advantage, and he also was able to come out with the shield advantage. So we bring in our Stunfisk now, knowing that the main threat of Stunfisk is gone with the Ferrothorn, and the only thing that could have probably stopped us was another Stunfisk, which our opponent does have and does manage to bring in here, which is not a really good matchup now for us because we are down a shield. Yes, we had like one mud shot of energy stored up, but unfortunately these are going to hurt us a lot. But we decide to swap out on the time where he throws his mud bomb into our Kingdra, which is really crucial for us. But he does bring in the Wormadam Trash here, which is a very big problem for us here. So we're going to try to bait him here with the Octazooka from our Kingdra, and he decides not to shield, which is crucial. But we are able to get to another charge move here and manage to take him out into the red, but then he doesn't fire his charge move off there, and he then brings in his Stunfisk. But it is actually a really good play for him there to not waste the shield, because now his Stunfisk has more energy built up against our Stunfisk, and we have a 1-to-1 shield advantage here. And with our Mud Bomb here, he's going to be able to get to another Mud Bomb right before we get to ours, and it's going to be able to take out our own Stunfisk. And that's the first game for round 7. And round 7, game number 2, we have a very positive set lead with our Ferrothorn against his Kingdra. He swaps out into his Ferrothorn, and we catch it with our Blaziken. So he is a little bit ahead in our energy right now because of the switch, and we are going to just try to commit to countering down and trying to farm as much energy as possible before throwing out this Blaze Kick to take out the Ferrothorn. He's probably going to come back in and bring in the Kingdra to Dragon Breath the rest of us down, and we're trying to get to a Blaze Kick there, but we weren't quite able to get to it. So now we bring out our Ferrothorn, going to threaten the shield with our Power Whips. Does manage to shield that, expecting him to throw a charge off here. It could be that Blizzard, it could be an Octazooka. We called it perfectly and said it was a Blizzard, so we decided to shield. And as soon as we throw out our Power Whip, he does a good swap into his Wormadam Trash. So it's not a really good looking for us right now. We are going to try to get to another charge off here, trying to get the switch in on the Bug Buzz. So we do. We're trying now to just line up our Stunfisk against this Wormadam Trash and had built up enough energy on our Ferrothorn for the Kingdra coming back in later. Stunfisk generating energy so fast that we're going to be able to do 2 Mud Bombs here off on this Wormadam Trash here. And he throws out his Kingdra here. And we go for the discharge to try to knock him down. Get him to really red, and we're trying to get for another discharge here, and he's trying to Dragon Breath us down. And now I pretty much forced the last shield here, but he doesn't decide to shield, brings out the Wormadam Trash. We have our Wormadam Trash now with lots of energy, gonna fire off the Power Whip, try to get that last shield, and we do. He throws off his charge move, and we're gonna shield this charge move here because it's be Bug Buzz or Iron Head. And we're trying to get to our last charge move off here. We kind of over tapped, but we were able to get to that Power Whip and able to take down the Wormadam for game 2. And now game 3, Mantine versus Wormadam Trash for all the marbles for round 3. Winner takes all. Swaps out into his Ferrothorn, and we stayed in with our Mantine to throw the Bubble Beam off to debuff his Ferrothorn here. So now in the head-to-head matchup, we're going to be okay because his Ferrothorn is debuffed here. So now we're not going to be quite so worried, and we're going to be able to take this matchup comfortably here. Gonna need him to either force a shield, or he's going to try to do these charge moves to eat up the timer, so that way he's going to be able to swap out into his next Pokemon. We're going to land this Flash Cannon off here. It's going to take him into the red right before he's about to die. So we managed to get to Bullet Seed him down, which is really crucial for us here. He's brought out Wormadam to Confusion to give it up to that Bug Buzz, but we managed to get to that Flash Cannon before he does here. Continuously try to Confusion us down, and he's going to throw his charge move off here to take us out, and we decide not to shield. We're going to save those shields. We're going to bring out Mantine here. We're going to charge up for the Ice Beam to knock down the Wormadam Trash. Thinking maybe he's going to bait, we're going to throw a Bubble Beam off there, but we don't, and it's a really good catch for us. Swaps out to Stunfisk, and we're going to swap right back out into our Kingdra here. And this dischargers are going to hurt, but we're going to try to build up to the Octazooka here. Try to get that debuff off on him, and also force his last shield. Get the shield, but we don't get the debuff. So we're going to need to shield this discharge again. Sorry, he does have one more shield left, so we're gonna try to get to another Octazooka before he gets to that discharge. But he does manage to get to it before we do. And here we're gonna be trying to Dragon Breath him down, and he swaps out real crucially. We tried to overfarm there, and we paid a price, and we didn't get to throw our Octazooka off. But we're trying to wing attack down the Mormon Trash here. We have no shields. This Bug Buzz is going to connect, unfortunately, and now we built up so much energy on our Mantine though, so we're going to be able to force that last shield with the Bubble Beam, get the debuff off, but with this last Bubble Beam, we secured a win for that round, and with that, we have won the game there, and we've secured our 6-1 finish for the Forest Cup tournament. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe to our videos here, and we'll see you guys all in Sorcerer's Cup to recap our next tournament matches there. Thank you for watching, and hope you guys all have a great day. Bye.